Good evening, gladiators. We who are about to play salute you. Well, good evening, yeah. This is the end of the weekend. Everyone's in bed. It's a perfect time to play some Ultima. I am, of course, continuing the Ultima series. One game after the other, after the other, after the other. There are so many. This is just in the core line. I'm already on Ultima VII Part 2, which is ostensibly the 9th game in the series if you count Akalabeth, and that's not even counting the Ultima spin-offs like Ultima Underworld or Ultima Worlds of Ultima Martian Dreams and that kind of thing, which I'm probably not going to cover in this series. I'll spare you that, but we're nearly there. This game, Ultima 8 and Ultima 9 to go. Now, the game I'm playing tonight, yeah, of course, is Ultima VII Part 2 Serpent Isle. This game was made in 1993, and they decided not to call it Ultima 8 because in the past every Ultima had been made using a new game engine with the code starting from complete scratch. But because this game was using the same core engine and much of the same, many of the same graphics, they decided to call it Part 2 and directly continue the story after Ultima 7 ends. Let's get into it. Serpent Isle, the Silver Seed. So, like I did in the last video, we might as well get started by viewing the introduction, and we'll kick off from there. Lord British presents Lord British's Castle. 18 months after the destruction of the Black Gate and the dismantling of the Fellowship.
My liege, all we found among Battlin's belongings was this enchanted scroll, and a map showing the way to a place called the Serpent Isle.
Indeed. Put it on the table.
I think that's Richard Garriott's voice, Lord British. How's that for voice acting?
Batlin, in the unlikely event that
Guardian.
the Avatar stops me from coming through the Black Gate, I command you to follow the unwitting female human Gweno to the Serpent Isle. There I shall outline my plan to destroy Britannia.
CGI. This is some early CGI.
My worst fear. I must send the Avatar through the pillars to the Serpent Isle.
Very primitive by modern standards, but back then this really stood out. But weirdly enough, doesn't really fit in with the rest of the game. As so often happened in these old games, we had, amazing CGI introductions, and then the rest of the game, not even close. Right, so that's introduction. Yolo's wife, Gweno, goes off to explore the Serpent Isle, and is chased by Batlin and members of the former Fellowship. And the Serpent Isle is actually a place called New Sosaria. So it's not actually set in Britannia for the first time in many Ultimas since I think back as far as Ultima 3. Let's start a new game. Name: Sir Oliver. Portrait. Hey, that was the guy we used last time. Already they're using bigger portraits than the Ultima 7, and the game is better for it. We'll go with the Latino avatar, which doesn't look like me at all, but it's kind of, no, not even close. Alright. So you wash up on a beach after much adventuring. What happened? Is everyone alright? Avatar! 'Twas a fearsome passage, Oliver. After we sailed between the serpent pillars, I could have sworn we were flying. Yet here we are on the ship. I wonder if I lost anything. That, of course, is YOLO. I'll stop doing that one day. But it's a much better portrait of him. I almost believe that might have been based off an actual photograph, perhaps. That is Dupre. We may be on the ship, but the ship is on dry land. I think that thou art correct, Iolo. We did fly. Brr. Dost thou not notice the chill in the air? 'Tis much colder here than at home. I hope Gweno brought enough warm clothing. That's the voice I'll use for Yolo. Do not worry, so old friend, we shall find thy wife soon enough. That is, of course, Shamino, who is Lord British, aka Richard Garriott's other alter ego. And as you can see there, that looks a lot like Richard Garriott. So I'm no doubt that was based off a photograph of him. And that fiend Batlin, I hope. A strange storm is nearly upon us. Okay, so here we are on this brave new world. Instantly we hear the beautiful music, the theme Stones, which is synonymous with Ultima, as synonymous as the Rule Britannia theme that he had heard in Lord British's castle. Now, it's the same game engine pretty much as Ultima 7. That's not a bad thing because it's a pretty good game engine. The perspective is kind of weird. You have this isometric 45-degree angle, I believe it is, which can take a little getting used to, but does make it quite easy to get around and to look inside buildings and so on. Now, back in the day, to see this kind of cool, oceans with waves and snow effects and rain and so on, and clouds overhead was quite cool. And I remember the Ultima games were very taxing on the PC back then, and I had an old PC which is like a 386 or something like that, and for those who remember that, at the time, pretty good machine. I had a hard disk that I believe had 20 megs, maybe 40 megs, not gigabytes, megabytes, and this game took up about half of that. So, and it ran pretty well, but every now and again you had big slowdowns. So I'm playing using an emulator, which is it's the Xalt emulator, and it adds a few mod cons. This smooth scrolling and everything. The game actually ran a little faster than this in the past, but quite unplayable in its original form on a modern computer. So our companion somehow have just disappeared. That's odd. What's that there? Rolls. Delicious. Very tasty. Well, I don't know where they've gone, but let's go into this cave, seek some shelter. Is that a cave? No, it's not. How embarrassing. That's a cave. What happened? No, it's not a cave. There is a cave entrance somewhere. We're getting blasted. Where are my friends? YOLO! Shamino! Dupre? These are the long-time companions of the Avatar, ever since Ultima 4, really. And Shimino was actually one of the kings in the first Ultima, I believe. There is a harp on this beach that's washed up. I wonder if it came from our boat. That's nice. You can play some notes. Who said that? Thou hast arrived. Who is this character? So her name is Thoxa. And she's some kind of sorcerer. Okay. This might be some kind of copy protection, as these old games have. And I've long ago lost the manuals. So what we're going to do is we're going to tab out and we're going to consult the sage at Google. How many cities established in the Serpent Isles? Back before the internet, this is pretty strong copyright protection. There were 6. That seems to be coming to me off the top of my head. 6. I'll say 6. Let's go. This is fascinating viewing for you at home there. According to Estrom's book, how many spells in the 9th circle? There are 8, and I actually believe I knew that because I think it might be the same as Ultima 6, where you had sort of 8 spells per circle. Ultima 6 is far and away the Ultima I played the most, by far. But I did actually buy Ultima 7 and Ultima 7 Part 2, and one thing that stuck out of my mind about Ultima 7 Part 2, also known as Serpent Isle, was the price tag. So I'm Australian, of course, and everything's a little bit more expensive here. And back in the day, games were way more expensive than in America for whatever reason. People call it the Australia tax. And this was 1993, and I believe I would have been about 12, 13. And guess how much I paid for this game? $119. And that is phenomenal. Adjusted for inflation now, that's probably like $160, $170. It's insane. But, you know, back then you also only would play a game, only 1 or 2 games every year, and a game like this had 100, 200 hours of gameplay. So you would be playing it for an awful long time. How many types of reagents? I know this one. Actually, I don't, but someone has told me. I'm not yet convinced. Why not? Stop this malarkey. How many characters? Let's just... Oh, look. See, this is also, you know, it's a bit boring because I feel like if you knew a few of these, you're going to know them all, right? I know you haven't had to do these once, really. How many forces when combined? Blah, 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 blah. 6. I wonder what happens if you get these wrong. Do you just have to stay up on the beach and hang out on the ship? I wonder. Oh, come on. How many in the Bestiary of Estram's book? You know, I should have prepared these earlier and done a save game. My apologies. But we will get this. This is the true Ultima experience. Thou art truly the one I seek. Damn right I am. Have an hourglass. Bye. I don't even want to talk to you. Yeah, you definitely go Quizmaster, Clown Master. Right, there is some evil man who's not happy with her. I love the big portraits in the game. They're so much better than Ultima VII Part 1. But unfortunately, they kept the big yellow font, which is just hard on the eyes. You do get used to it, but it's harder to read. It's slower, just because the font is quite complex. Flam must flum. So they're fighting each other. Well, I don't want to be part of this fight. This wizard duel. So there's some enhanced spell effects in Serpent Isle too, like some lightning bolts and fire and everything. Why am I standing in the middle of this battle? I want to get out of here. Mas frio. Maybe this guy's a good guy. As I mentioned in the last video, I often don't read a lot of this stuff, especially when I'm doing the Let's Plays, because I know it's quite boring for people to look at. And even when I play these things myself, often I'll skip through and then wonder why I'm getting stuck in quests. I'm actually a much better game designer than game player, that's for sure. Alright. So given this some artifacts, that's nice. Let's go and find our companions again. They'll probably be strewn around the beach somewhere. What is that? That's a bird. Humble bird. Like many of the Ultima games, you have paper dolls. And actually, no, only the later ones. Serpent Isle, I believe, was the first one to introduce paper dolls, which is quite cool. It's, you know, it's a system like a paper doll where you can, if you have a hat, you can add it to the helmet, to the head, and it will appear there. Same with the necklace or the armor and so on. And I really like that. And that's something that I ended up using in my Sword and Sandals games. Sword and Sandals 3 at least. So we've got quite a full backpack here. We have some wonderful fine stockings which we could wear if we wish. What happens if I put them on? Oh, they're lovely. I don't know what they do, but cool color cycling for the magical items as well. We've got an hourglass, scroll, and some fine ice wine. Very nice. The avatar. There's our friend. I think that's Shimino. Alright. Are you alright? Yeah, I'm good. Whinge, whinge, whinge. Yeah, so this game isn't set in Britannia, so it's quite an unfamiliar environment. And in this land, people do not think highly of Lord British. In fact, call him Beast British. Now, I don't remember much about the story of this, and I unfortunately haven't done much research for this video. But as far as I'm aware, Batlin, who is the Lord of the Fellowship, the evil cult from Ultima VII, has turned up in the Serpent Isle, and hopes to summon 3 sort of demon characters called the Banes. And with the powers of these evil demons, he hopes to usurp his master, the Guardian, who was that red-skulled gorilla man that we saw in the introduction, the Avatar. Waste that not, Avatar. Pardon thou me. What? What do you want? Okay, so we've found the possession. So we've found Shimino's bow. It's all drag and drop. You can have your bow back. You can ask him to leave if you want. Let's have a look at Shimino. We can go to his backpack, and what is he holding? A brush or something? An odd hairbrush. Here you go. You can have your bow back and a skull. Drop the skull. The inventory system is quite cool, and I think it's by far the best of the Ultimas. The early ones are very clunky, and they're all text-based. You do use the keyboard here if you want for shortcuts. You don't have to, but I can't remember how you would actually... Oh yeah, that's it. Just click on it. Oh, there's an evil wolf. To the death. Let's yell battle cries against the wolf. So in the last video, when I was playing Ultima, the Black Gate, Ultima 7, the Black Gate, we were stuck in town the whole time because it was a murder mystery. But we're now out in the wilderness, and we will have more combat. So the wolf had nothing on him. There's a dead pig. I know there's a cave entrance around here, and I believe some of our possessions might be in the cave. I don't actually have a weapon, sadly. The Ultima 7 games actually were one of the first that I can remember to actually have expansions, you know, what we call today as DLC or downloadable content. Ultima had 2 expansions, one called the Forge of Virtue, which was the expansion to Ultima 7 Part 1, and that gave you an awesome sword, a thing called the Black Sword, which was very, very powerful. And the other was the Silver Seed, which was the expansion for Ultima 7 Part 2, and I don't remember what powers that gave you. It might have been some kind of time shifting power or something, but here we are in a town. Again, money of the... not only the engine has been reused, but much of the art has been reused for Ultima 7 Part 2, which is, I think, not a bad thing to do. If you've got all the art, and as long as you add some more, why not get a new adventure out of it? And I'm all for that. Like, imagine today, if you've played through Zelda Breath of the Wild or something, you would love to play another adventure using that engine in a different area, surely, right? I don't feel like we need to reinvent the wheel every time we make a new game, even though technology does change fast. Some things, I think you can get, 2 or 3 games out of an engine at least. That's my opinion anyway. Having said that, I often build a new engine every time I do a Sword and Sandals game, which is not particularly cost effective. I am the Avatar. So in this world, they haven't really heard of the Avatar. I'm a stranger. Open the gate, damn you, sir. Are you a friend? Of course I'm a friend. You don't know I'm a friend. You do know I'm a friend. Alright, we'll have an escort. Lovely. Keeping an eye on the hail. Alright, well, we can go in if we wish. But I wonder about our companions. I feel like we might get out of there now that we've got the gate open. I want to find this cave entrance that I know is around here somewhere. If my memory serves me correctly, there are secret walls in these games, and often they are, the only way you can tell about them is if they have, it'll say wall, or it might say capital W wall, and if you find the capital W wall, then you know it's a secret door. I could swear that I have not played this honestly in 20 or more years, many more than maybe 25 years. There you go. But I still remember there was a cave. That's really cool. Sir Oliver, a bedroll. We can sleep anywhere. Great. If we had lockpicks, we could open it. The Avatar is no thief. Yeah. So in Serpent Isle, you don't need. This is the first one where your companions won't judge you for stealing things. You can steal things, take many things as you want, because you're in this kind of almost. It's not a lawless world, but it's not Britannia. The virtues are quite different. Other people, of course, will accost you for stealing and causing trouble. Hey, you found some lockpicks. Let's pick the lock. Unlocked. Great. And the torch. everything is, using the GUI, which is for people that are wanting to get into Ultima and not familiar with keyboards and using the keyboard shortcuts for games. This is not a bad Ultima to get you started with. Hey, a whole bunch of our stuff. Got some carrots for Shimino. Got a magic sling, you can have that. A sextant, which will tell us the place on the map, I believe, if you click on it. Maybe I've got to take it first. What's that? A bottle? Delicious. What is that one? Oh, it's the bottle. I don't know what I picked up. Maybe it was a sword or, hey, some cheese for Shimino. Some gloves. When you get to certain areas in this game, you need warm weather gear or something. If you can hear that in the background, I'll show you. There's that's Maximus, my cat. Maximus Decimus Meridius, general of the Felix Legions and commander of the armies of the North. Okay, so we just hit Max caused trouble then, and I'm now in some kind of exalt menu, but I will like to escape that. Exit. Yeah, cool, we're back. So that's some kind of, I believe Max triggered a cheat menu or something. I don't know what happened. As always, the All in Play series is highly professional and very rehearsed. Anything can and will happen, and often does. And it usually involves me stuffing up and stealing something and going to jail in a town. When we're playing Ultima anyway. Or not getting past the first part of a level in Rastan Saga, or dying to the second boss in Wonder Boy. All these games I'm just not that good at, Maybe I'm just getting old. But they're still fun. And we should play games because they're fun and not feel pressure to be, too good at them. So we will go back into this town. Talk to the clown guard again. Hey. How dare you? You know I'm there. Don't ignore me. Come on. How dare you, sir? What is it name? What is it now? Name? I am flicking LA. Flicking. A knight of monitor. We're all knights here. Cool, sure, we're all something, right? Open the damn gate. Aye, it is a gate indeed, and strong. Ah, very clever. He's a bit salty because I walked away last time. There we go. All right, letting us in. It's interesting, this game. There is some sound. The sound sort of comes and goes, unlike Ultima VI, which constantly was playing the same few songs again and again. As nice as they were, Ultima VII seems to start and stop, but there isn't that much in the way of ambient noise like wind and so on. And I wonder if that's just potentially the sound setup that I'm using or whatever, or maybe it was a limitation of the time. I gotta say, I don't love the rain effect. It's a little blue, and it didn't. Rain doesn't really look like that. Here we are, wandering around this town, which I can't recall the name of. Might be Moonshade or something like that. We're in a house. What are you doing? You're in a house? You steal. Who's hungry? Who's hungry? Shimino, you're hungry, buddy, aren't you? Come on, mate. Grab some bread. When we were in Trinsic in the last video, we got... Oh, come on. I was going to say, the guards attacked us. And they're doing it again in this damn town. How did they even see me do that? How did they know? Excuse me one moment. Will I come quietly? No, because I'm letting Max out. Alright, Max, out you go. Come on, see ya. Alright. Max has gone. And we will not come quietly. I will not go quietly. I will not accept your rules. Fortunate decision, my friend. Well, that's an unfortunate decision for you, maybe. Oh, help, help, help. Bam, bam, bam. We're getting whomped. One thing that is a bit frustrating in this game is you can't really tell how well you're doing without sort of checking your little inventory screen and so on. Karnax has resurrected us. Please forgive. So we're getting a bit of a lecture, maybe. I want to leave Monk Isle. Right. So off we go. Okay, so we actually He gave us something, but we appeared right as where we were before, which is quite handy. Is that a crystal ball? What does that do for us? Interesting. That's really weird. I don't know what this is. I don't remember it. We're looking up at the stars or something. I'm not sure if you're picking up the audio in the distance, but that's my little baby son Isaac, who's just woken up. It's nearly 10 o'clock at night, and my wife is settling him, so I might have to cut this video short soon if the little man doesn't want to get back to sleep, but we'll see how we go. So, okay, I'm on a map here. That's all very nice and well, but I want to leave. Okay. Odd. Very nice psychedelic effect for the time, sure. But, yeah. You know, it's interesting. I don't have that much more to say about this game, actually, Serpent Isle, because it is more of the same. It's set in a different world to Ultima. Hello, who are you? A different world to Ultima VII Part 1, but there's not that much more to say. It's a much more linear quest. In Ultima VII Part 1, you can do things in any order, pretty much. In this one, it's quite a long story from memory, and with many fascinating characters, but it does follow quite a linear path. This is a girl called Kantra. See you later. I think there's an arena in this town. Let's see if I can find that before we go, because I wouldn't mind having a bit of a sanctioned fight rather than having fisticuffs with the guards all the time. One thing that never really looked that good in Ultima VII Engine is the walking. It is a little strange, isn't it, just having this 2 frames. I know there's limitations for it, but we wish to leave. It's now, I guess, it's very foggy and snowy. You can see the layer over the top, and that's actually slowed things down, which is quite odd. Even the Exalt engine. Well, it's quite a stormy day for us to duel in the arena, and I don't know how to get down there, so we're still walking around the ramparts, which is very heroic indeed. Not too... There we go, that was a pointless type version for the avatar. Every time I play these games, I do the least avatar-like things. We're not going to go in the arena. That's locked. Oh dear, this is ugly. This is really ugly, this storm. Need to get out of it. Need to find a building I can get into. In here. What's that? A statue of some kind. Ooh, lots of gold. Let's see if monetary, which is the equivalent to gold, I guess. Get ourselves a dagger, get some gold. Will anyone know? I didn't see anyone around. No one saw. That's good. I think maybe if they're just within a certain range, they can detect you. No harm, no blood, no foul. There's a sculptor. This is cool. You got this kind of glass window on there, which is a nice layer of, a multi-layered graphical tiling, which is quite cool and very complicated for the time, and definitely taxed old computers. I wouldn't mind getting out of this town, actually. If I can find the door, because I'm not really following the story at the moment. Nay, what are you doing? Leave that cat alone. Oh, he wasn't attacking the cat. That's all right. Well, I gotta say, there's not much more I can really... We'll get out of here quickly. Let me out. We'll wander up north for a little bit, see what we can find, and then I'll probably call it for the night. Follow the road northeast. Whoa, my mouse is going crazy. What? We're stuck in there. How did I get in there? Okay. It's kind of odd when the music stops, because you realize how much the music ambience creates an atmosphere for the game. Just me and Shamin. I don't know what happened to Dupre or YOLO. Anyway, look. Yeah, that's Serpent Isle. Apologies, not the most exciting adventure at all. It's my fault. I didn't really research this one much at all. I'm getting towards the end of the Ultima series, and my patience is wearing a little thin because it's very hard to cover games that take 100 hours in 20 minutes, half an hour. And anyway, there are some magic in the Ultima series and some slow bits. That's all for tonight, but leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the Ultima series. And because we're near the end of this video, let me know what game you'd like me to cover next. Is it an old game, a new game? I'm up for anything, really. I've got a whole bunch that I'm interested in. I want to cover Terraria. I want to cover Dark Souls, maybe, just for fun. Darkest Dungeons. Of course, some more of my Sword and Sandals games and things. Anyway, enjoy what's left of your weekend, and bye for now.